what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast episode. This is number 191. I'm your host, 65 Locs, covering model car culture from around the world. On the drive, on the commute right now. It's been a while since I've done one of these episodes, but I was looking forward to it. Just want to recap on things that have been going on and what's coming up as well, and see what you guys been up to also. So as you guys know, not too long ago I attended the NHRA museum. There was a model car show put on by the Model Good guys. I hope I'm saying that right. All right, because I'm driving right now. I'm just I don't have anything in front of me to read, but it was the Spirit of Speed. That was the name of the event that they host, and it was awesome. You know, I've been there previously in other years. My friend Rudy was the person who had introduced me to the show some years back. I had never known about it until he told me and invited me, and we went there together. And you know, it's a nice place. You got a big facility where it houses a lot of vehicles, the museum part of the NHRA. And then on the other side, you know, once a year they have this room where they manage to host a model car show that always happens around in the month of November. And the last year I was unable to attend, and even prior to that because of COVID, you know, they didn't have any events. But even before that, I did go to some of their events to, you know, to purchase items, check out the models, take some photos. So this one here was the first time that I was there as a vendor. I had never vended at this event. So, you know, I was just trying to think back at previous events, remembering how the vendors were laid out, set up there in their room. So I mentally was preparing myself for this event. But here's the thing too, though. By the time I was a month out when I found out that, hey, you know what, those dates are open for my schedule, I could definitely do it. Once it was cleared, I was like, all right, let me go ahead and get in contact. So I sent out an email a month, this is a month out before the event, you know, and by then you would already have to assume that tables are sold out, right, for vendors. But I was like I need to see what's up. I need to give it a go and see if this is a possibility. And I got a response back. Tables were sold out, but also suggesting that, you know, if I was still willing to come through, even if I had my own table, whatever, being there on the spot, we were gonna see the possibility of possibly setting me up somewhere there. So at that point, without promising anything, you know, and that's very understandable, you know, so I was like, all right, cool, the date's open, I do have a table, I do have my stuff ready, I just have to decide, take the risk and just do the hour drive, or not an hour, it was probably about 40 minutes, get there, you know, get all situated and see what's up. Just wait to see if you have the green light. And if not, then, you know, I'm going to have to hang out for a while and, you know, wait until the event opens, because setup is at 8, event starts at 10. So I was like, all right, there's a 2-hour window, you know, what am I going to do? So all these things are playing in my head. But part of me was like, let's do it. Let's go. You never know. You have to take a risk. You have to take a chance, you know? You just have to. I mean, there's nothing you can lose. Just do it. So I was starting to look through all my stuff and thinking, all right, I know it's not possible to just be like, all right, I'm going to take all my inventory from the store over there. There's just no way, you know? So I had to really think about it and to decide what is it that I was going to take, what made sense for this event. And, I obviously didn't want to take model kits because they do take up a lot of space, and I just know I didn't have the space in my car to be able to transport boxes full of kits. So I pretty much assembled everything from tools to sanding supplies, detail parts, like a lot of decals from Gopher Racing, and bare metal foil. And also another thing that I wanted to add that came in just in time for the show was the Model Cars magazine newest issue that had just dropped. I believe it's 216. And man, like when those things showed up at the house, I was like, yo, like this is perfect. I hope everything comes together and I am able to do this show because I have the latest magazine. So I get the magazines all ready, put them in a box, and I had sold some online. So I was kind of like, all right, I got to make sure, I ship out the ones I sold online and just take the quantity that's available to the show. So I took that over along with back issues of the Model Cars magazine. And I was just, I got there early in the morning to the show, 30 minutes before 8, because I was like, you know what, I'm going to get here even earlier. And I believe I was like the first person there because I was in the parking lot. The parking lot was empty. There was nobody there. The place was locked. There was, no promoter, nothing. Nobody was there, no vendors, anybody that I saw that I knew or anything. So I was like, cool, I'll just chill right here. And so I'm just kicking it. And then I start seeing people coming through, waiting as well. They finally opened up the doors and everything. And I spoke with Ron, the one who organized the event. I reached out, we had spoken prior through email, and I'm here. So I'm just going to just chill and you let me know if there's an opening. So there was a lot going on, it was busy. Like it was busy, like they needed a setup before, people started arriving. And I mean, time flies, especially when you're doing an event. It's like all hands on deck. You need help from people and everything. And when I saw the, the need, like, all right, cool. Like, everyone's chipping in. I was like, I got to help too. I can't just sit in my car and just wait, So I went over there to help them like set up chairs, tables, whatever, like put everything out. The linens that go on the tables. All right, cool. It's all done. So it was awesome because once it was all said and done, Ron was like, hey, I have those tables out there ready right there. And they were in the room. They weren't even outside of the room or anything. They were like in the same room. So they got me set up. I was like, oh, dope. So I didn't even have to use my own table. Even though I brought it, I just, I left it in the car and brought all my stuff down. And it was cool since I didn't bring too much big stuff. I managed to carry everything on one trip on one of my small dollies that I have. So I was like, cool. So I was able to carry all that stuff and set up. And then once I set up, some of the vendors started coming through, checking out the tables. And they noticed the magazine. That was the first thing they noticed because I had it right in the corner of the table. And they were like, picking it up. Like, oh, let me get this issue. So I was like, cool. So through the day, like, people that showed up in the morning to buy kits and stuff and just browsing around, I would say you could call them the early birds. By the time they got to my table, the magazine was like a big attraction. And then from there, people pick up things that they need, even some things that they never even seen before. And it was nice to see like impressions of people's in their faces of being like just like tripping out on these tools, on these materials, the decals, all these different things. So that was pretty neat. And at the same time, like the decals were a hit too. The gopher, I was tripping out. I brought all of them. I was like, I'll bring them all. At the end, I was like left with a little bit of them. The pinstriping ones were huge. There was this customer who came, and I feel bad because I feel like, man, you should have just bought them when you had the chance. Because he was looking at them for a while. He stepped away, and I must have had at that point 3 copies left of each, the colored ones and the gold ones. By the time he came back, it was, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes later, they were all gone. And so he was, trying to see how he can get more. And I told him I could get more, but it's going to probably be a week and a half by the time it gets shipped to me, and, or a week at least. And I do have them now. They're on the site, but, but it's one of those things, who knows. I did tell him about the site, but who knows, if he'd ever come around to doing it. But it's just, I don't know, from experience, from going to various shows and also being a collector of various things, I already know that the minute you see something you want, whatever, if it feels like it's expensive, but it's still kind of reasonable price, it's somewhere in the middle range, just buy it, get it. Especially if you know that not everybody has this piece, that it's somewhat rare, just get it. Because you're going to be frustrated finding out later that it's even more money, that you can't find it anymore, and all this stuff. That regret's going to haunt you. And it's haunted me along many times. So I already know that if I want something, and I know that, let's just say, as an example, you could find it in the wild for $40, which is the cheapest. But then again, you got people selling it for $60 or $80, which is the middle range. And then you got people selling it for 100 and some. If I find it in the middle range for 60, 80, I'm buying it. Even if my friends are telling me, oh, why'd you buy it? You could find it for 40. You know what? I've learned from many times, I'll never find it for 40. On my experience, I always go for the middle. I'll just get it now. I don't want to. I want to sleep. I want to be good knowing, all right, cool, I got it. We're set. And that's just the little the collector's kind of mindset on things when you want stuff. Because you are gonna pay the price, and there is times when you are gonna find cheaper things in the wild. So it's like a roller coaster at that point. And let me just take a sip out of my coffee right here. It's quite a bit of traffic as I'm trying to get out of the city and get into the freeway right now. So the show, I managed to just chill at the show in my booth. I wasn't able to really leave or anything. So I was there for many hours, just, helping people out. And I would say by the time we got to the noontime magazines, all the new issues were gone, sold out. The back issues were now ones that people were picking them up. They were seeing what issues they were missing. So I also don't have a lot of back issues. And once those are gone, they're gone. I know they go up in price if I wanted to obtain more back issues, but that's not what I'm gonna do. The magazine, it's dope. It's a dope magazine. I like the articles, the layouts, the colored photos. Doing a great job. It's consistently coming out, and it's been making a lot of noise as well. I see people posting it, especially on Facebook. I see it on Instagram, and now that the magazine's flowing into the store, as time goes on, the quantities will increase. I'll be getting more and more issues, so this way I'll have enough issues for everyone, and then from there, we'll just see where it goes. I hope I can obtain other magazines as well. There is a possibility that I could also carry the Tamiya magazine. The only thing though regarding that magazine is I'm not getting it direct from them. That would be through a distributor. And one of the issues that lies with that is the timing and also the pricing. Like, since they're a distributor, they're like the middle person, so they're gonna raise the price. And then on top of that, by the time they get the issues, and then by the time I get them, like, it's gonna be quite late of its release. But then again, I understand that if it's an issue that people want or pick up, it won't be a big deal, right? Because at least you'll be able to get it in hands. So that's one that I'm hoping I can get, but it's also something I need to work on to see if it's worth doing. And another magazine I would love to get would be the dedicated magazine. I've already mentioned it to the guys that make the magazine, and I've let other people know. So I'm hoping, when that time comes in the future of a release, that I'm able to get some copies to also have. You could definitely also order it from their website for the pre-order. You could also, once it's out, you can get it digitally, or you can also purchase for it to be printed through the MacCloud account that they have. And I want to get some copies of the original release, not a pre-order, but just once it's out, be able to sell it. And the reason being is just so it brings more brand awareness to their brand, something I could offer to my customers. And also, if let's say one of my customers buys the magazine for the first time, now they know, okay, dedicated, and then they could go on their website or the MacCloud and order the back issues. Oh shoot, I just saw a car like swerving right now. But yeah, there's all like little things like that that I would want to do. So this way, they make their sales also. Like the magazine gets more eyeballs and things like that in the brand, because we do want to see these brands succeed. We want to see them grow. It's a shame like Scale Auto got the plug pulled, right? So whatever's standing like right now, like these magazines that are in existence, we gotta continue like supporting them. Even if you're not into buying magazines, at least spread word about it. I think that's enough right there. That's like a good support that somebody can do. And spreading the word, that's always a good thing to do. But yeah, I want to see these magazines come out more and succeed, because they're tangible things. They're things that we could grab with our hands. We could flip through them, look at them, and I mean, when things like that are gone, it kind of sucks, And then we reflect back and we go, man, remember the days? Remember when it was like that, or when you could do this? And you wish, man, if this magazine would have been around, I could have been, I would buy 3 issues or 5 or whatever. Now's the time, when companies like that are coming out with stuff. And the same goes for like products too. There's a lot of people doing a lot of printing, a lot of people customizing, coming out with various like things to bring out. And companies like that also need that kind of support as well. But yeah, so going back to the show, it was great. It was awesome. It was an awesome show overall. I'll definitely do it again, but this time I will book it way in advance. The reason I feel like I put myself in these positions sometimes to be locking in of ending it kind of late is just because of I have a family, and I have to prioritize. My daughter's 2 years old. I love being with my family. I'm with them all the time. And, weekends is like obviously family time, especially a Sunday. you know. And I mean, I want to spend as much time as I can with my daughter, especially because she's growing up. You know, she's growing up right in front of my eyes every day that goes by. And every time I take photos of her and I look at those photos, even if it's like a month out, I trip out the changes, you know, like her growth. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, that's crazy. Like, you know, I remember, like, she's looking different, you know? Like, it's just, all these things are going on. So I'm trying to spend as much time as I can. And, but in this situation, it's a bit different because, you know, you also need, like a break, like to be able to do something and work and hang out with friends and stuff like that. But this all worked out because that weekend she was with my parents. So it was like, cool, you know, I can go and do this. The one show that happened earlier this year was the Orange Con, and I missed that one, and I regret missing it. Like, I kicked myself about it at the time when it was going down, because last year I didn't do it, and I told myself I'll do it next year, because by next year I'll have more stuff, I'll be more prepared, you know. And then it crept up. Like, these weeks, these months, everything has gone by so fast that I had no time to even think about it or anything. And their presence is big on Facebook, you know. I rarely go on Facebook. Now I'm starting to go on Facebook, like, constantly to check up on things. And by the time that I was on their page, and even friends were like, hey, are you going to be there? I was like, oh, crap, you know? I looked it up and I was like, dang, nah, I don't think so, because I just read on their page that their tables are sold out. And I was like, yo, like, that's dope. They sold out, but for them. But for me, I was like, oh, weak, you know? But it was my bad, though. But then again, when that weekend was coming up, I already had plans with the fam, and I was like, nah, I can't even. See, I can't even go because we got stuff to do. So, you know, my daughter's obviously, like, she's getting growing and all that. But I also, you know, had a convo with my fiance about that, and I was like telling her, like, you know, there's gonna be shows coming up and all this and that, especially next year. And, you know, I'm gonna try to make more shows than this year. You know, it's not really like the main thing that I want to do, because it's an online store. But it is good to also attend shows and have a presence, right? And be able to give people access in person to what you have. So, and she pumped me up. Like, yeah, you should definitely, you know, we'll figure something out. That way you don't feel like, damn, you know, you can't do it because we got to do a family outing or whatever. Like, if, you know, we already know those dates, we got to, like, basically mark them off the calendar. So this way, you know, we could do it. And that's cool because, you know, and anything you do need support, right? Especially from the fam, right there. Yeah, you need support from the fam and what you're going to do, because this way you're concentrated on what you're doing. You're not distracted, and you're not feeling like any type of way, you know. You know you're there for the right reasons. And you just got to focus on what you got going on. So I already have, like, you know, things like set up, like, all right, cool, I want to go to this show, just so this way I hit them up ahead of time, right? And also reach out to them ahead of time to get on their, like, mailing list, because a lot of the times you do get emailed ahead of time, you know, wanting to know, or just letting you know, hey, it's available. If you're interested, you know, you can book the table now. And, you know, I've never done Orange Con And I think that one would be a good show, just because, you do get a variety of different genres of builds that are there in attendance. And I feel like a lot of these tools that I have on the site, they're very universal. They don't just stick to one thing. They can be used for many various purposes of building. So the show was dope. I ended up closing it up a bit early just because I wanted to walk around the tables and take photos of builds and talk to some people. So I managed to just kind of wrap up. I believe it was 2 p.m. by the time I was wrapping up, and I just walked around, looked at stuff, checked out some of the model kits that were being sold at the show. A lot of good stuff, but I wasn't really in the mood to buy anything, especially kits. I already have kits, so I was in my personal stash, and so yeah, I just walked around, checked it out, and it was fine. It was a pretty good show, man. I highly recommend it for people who are in the area that have not been able to attend it. Check it out. And from what I know, here in California, I believe that's the last show, because I don't know of any shows going on in December, model shows. And as far as next year, there is an NNL West show already that's set for January, and then there's another show in February in Ventura County by Ventura Hobbies that's going down at the Ventura Fairgrounds. The Ventura Fairgrounds one, for sure, I'll be there. I'm gonna already submit my paperwork and the payment for the tables, get it all sorted. As far as NNL, that's something that's been hovering over my head. I'm still not sure, if I'm gonna do that one, just because it's a 6-hour drive. I've been to it; it's a great show, but I've never vended there. I've only attended it just to bring my models, and that part's easy, right? You just make the drive, go to sleep, wake up, get ready, and put your model on the table, and you're set. And just hang out and walk everywhere and just chill with people. Vending will be that'll be a whole totally different situation. So I'm still trying to see what's up with that. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. I don't want to say anything further. If it's a yay or nay. I don't know yet. We'll find out later. And but yeah, this one of the announcements I wanted to make is for Black Friday. Black Friday will be next week already. So by the time this episode comes out, and it'll be out, we'll be already in the Black Friday week or weekend. And I just want to let everybody know right now that I will be having a Black Friday sale, and I'm basically gonna be doing 15% off all products. Every product on the site is gonna be 15% off. I didn't want to do selective products. I didn't want to do selected brand. I was thinking about it. I'm well, it's Black Friday. I hate going to Best Buy back in the day. When I was young, being hyped on oh, I'm going to get the laptop. Oh, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. And then showing up knowing that whatever they had on sale in that little booklet that they would mail at the house back in the day, it would be we only, they're all sold out. They're all sold out. And nothing else was on sale but that. And then next thing you know, it's you find out, they only had 10 of them or something, or 5 for everybody. Come on, So Um, I don't know. I want to make it interesting and special for everybody. Now I need to drink my coffee. Hold on. Ooh, all right, here we go. So I'm going to do 15% off the whole store. So that's model kits, tools, paints, all that stuff. 15% off. And I'm also going to leave that if you spend $100, free shipping. So orders over 100 in the US is free shipping. So if you want to save more money, I would definitely recommend to take advantage of that, the free shipping option when you spend more than $100. So the sale, I'm gonna announce it later, the timing of when it's gonna happen. But I would recommend to subscribe to our email list. Get on the email list. There's a lot of people that have been joining it, and I want to, grow it even more on the email list, because sometimes I send out email blasts with drops of new stuff. Once in a while, a discount, whatever. But I'm going to be doing that more, discounts through email lists, but I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to announce it on Instagram. I'm not going to announce it, because the only way you're going to find out is if you subscribe to the email list. That's one of my goals, is to grow that email list, because let's say something happens. Let's say the platforms don't work. Let's say Facebook kicks you off, Instagram, whatever. And the website's going to stay up, but how are you guys going to find out what arrived, what's on sale, what I just decided, you know what? Here's $5 off, $10 off, or this kit, we're going to knock off this much, it's on sale now. The only way you're going to know is through the email. So if you haven't, please jump on that email list, subscribe. And so Black Friday, 15% off. And the code is going to be, I'm going to tell you now, it's going to be thanks 15. So THANKS 15. That's going to be the code. And that code, it's obviously going to be starting, from before the Friday, and it's going to end midnight, like Cyber Monday. So when it's Monday at midnight going into Tuesday, and that's when it's going to expire. So it's going to be that whole weekend right there. On the website, we do have a wish list. So if there's items that you want, that you're looking for, I would highly recommend to create an account and make a wish list of the items that you want. So this way, when the sale is going on and you want to purchase those items and take advantage of the 15% off, you can just go to your wish list and add them to your cart. So this way you don't have to go digging around the whole site for them. And then you could add the code at checkout, get the discount, and if you spend more than 100, you get the free shipping. Boom, and you'll get a good deal right there. And it's going to be everything, even things that never go on sale. Like, you never see Tamiya products go on sale. They're going to be on sale. The tools, all that stuff is going to be on sale, 15% off. Zoom on, other accessories, all that stuff is going to be on sale. Especially like if there's a kit or like a product or a tool that you're like been a bit hesitant because maybe the price, you think like, man, it's like too much or whatever. This could be a good time to get it, or even a gift. Maybe it could be a gift that you want to get someone. Maybe you want one of your friends to try out a tool or something. But that's going to be up there. So pretty much, just letting you guys know now, Black Friday, that's what we're going to do. for this year. And I'm excited. I mean, I've been getting in a lot of product preparing for this. You got to get boxes, you got to get tape, you got to get all these little things in for the store. I do have an order from Zoom-On coming in. So that left, their area like a week ago. It might show up next week in time for Black Friday. I've been tracking it, just waiting, seeing what's up. So I got that coming in. I'm excited. They have so many new products that they came out with that I made sure to add to the list and ordered it up. So that stuff's coming in. And at the same time, this week, we obtained a lot of various tools that we got for the store, and also glues too. So we did get the weld, the liquid weld from Plastruck. We got one of their bottles. We're gonna get the other one next. And we also got these like glue droppers as well for CA glue. Zappa Gap, another glue that we just got in the store, and other different types of sanding sticks as well. So, back then I was only sticking to certain brands, right? And I see people using those brands and everything, but then at the same time, as the years go by and you meet other artists and you start to see the kind of work they do, and you start to see the kind of tools and materials that they use to execute what they do, you notice that, hey, every like type of glue has its purpose. Every tool has its purpose, right? Everybody has their own preferences. And, after a while, people would ask me like, hey, do you ever plan on getting like Plastruct or Zappa Gap? Because obviously I'm always selling like the Bob Smith Industry CA glue. That's a glue that I always have. The Tamiya glue, that's another glue. So I get questions asked for these other products. Will you ever carry these? And and at a time I was always like, nah, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna carry them. Like, I like these ones right here. These are cool. But then again, you got to think, well, what is it that my customers want? What do they need? So then, going back to those questions that they were asking, it's like, yeah, this stuff, I definitely need to get this stuff, right? And then you start to learn, or you try out and you go, oh, damn, like this is the reason why this particular glue is beneficial, For example, like the CA glue, it's thick, it's more of a gap filling glue, it's strong. And I remember when I was working on my Hakuzaku GTR and I had to glue the wide body fenders on, I was like, okay, I've used CA glue throughout a lot of my custom builds. If I use CA glue to glue these fenders, I'm gonna have a nightmare because it's thick, and in the moment I compress them, it's gonna spread, and then I'm gonna spend hours sanding that thing down back to what it was because it's thick glue. So what I did was I used the Tamiya liquid glue, which has that little brush, and it's the thin one. So as soon as it's liquid, you brush it, it's thin, and then you compress it, and then it sticks. I'm like, dope. So that meant that I was like, all right, I just want like a nice thin, almost, it looks like it's like already molded onto the body. So I use that, and it's there. I'm like, cool. But here's the thing. At some point, That glue it's strong, but not too strong because it's a thin glue. Those fenders are gonna snap, pop off, right? So then, once I knew they were in place, then what I did is I went back to my Bob Smith Industries glue, which is the thicker glue now. I flipped the car upside down, and inside the body and between the body and the fender, I poured a little bit of glue in there. So now it's more secure. And then right away I put the accelerator. So this way that glue doesn't just spread. And now next thing you know, it's back on the body, on the exterior. And I was like, dope. It's in there now. It's solid. Cool. And, there's that's like a method I like doing lately with the wide bodies. Everybody has their own, Some people probably don't even use any of that. Some people probably use that plaster, that weld, and they use the brush and they hit it, boom, it's stuck, and they're good to go. Some people might use Zap-A-Gap. That's all they use. Everybody has their own thing. But as time goes, you learn, you try out other things and then you learn each purpose and you go, oh, I don't like this one, or I do like this one. Or some people are like, yo, I like having like 6 different glues because they're for different applications. So I definitely had to expand on that. I had to expand on the collection there of things. The same with hobby knives, the same with files, sanding materials, all those things. I have to broaden up the options. I have to broaden up, all the different selective items to get. And the same with like Flexifile. That's another brand where I'm slowly bringing in some of their stuff into the to the store. Right now, I'm primarily interested in their glue applicators. They have this really neat one. It's a CA glue applicator that's a really thin, like, needle. And I mean, I tend to use toothpicks all the time and then I throw them out. But this one here looks really cool. The way I was looking at it the other night. And especially for people that are into detailing and they want to glue things together, you could put like a drop of glue on a piece of tape or on a piece of paper, and then you get this glue applicator. You touch the drop that you just poured out onto the tape or paper, and then the CA glue applicator just picks up a little amount, and then you go and you touch the area that you want to glue, and it just like drops it in there. Things like that is what I have that I just got in, but I'm more interested in right now. So, because builds, they get complicated as the level goes up in your building, on your skills. The more you want to learn, the more you want to do. As much as you want to level up, you also have to level up your tools, because it's just going to make it a lot easier, the whole process of leveling up. And it's also like, I think the fun part is the satisfaction that you did it. That in your mind, you're trying to wrap around your head, like, how do I do this? How do I do this? And then you see someone do it. They explain to you how to do it. You gather up your materials. You gather up your tools. And then you go for it. You make the time. You're motivated. You're pumped. And you do it. And it comes together. And you're proud of yourself. You're like, oh my God, I did it. Like, what the hell is crazy? I never thought I could do this. But I did it. And then you post it. People show you love. They show you props. now you're more motivated. Now you're like, dude, I want to do another one. So you do another one and you do it again. And then now you reach a point where you want to do something else and you don't know how to do it. But it's all good because you have access to your community, to your friends. They break it down. You know, there's videos. And it's the same process again. Let me get all my stuff and let's do it. And there might be a chance you might run into a problem. And it's probably not you. It's probably just, you just needed the right tool. Or you needed the right thing to be able to do that. That's the only thing holding you back. You know? And because we've all experienced this. We all experienced like something where we go, what the hell? Like, I was tripping out. The other day I saw like an old video of someone explaining about like the hobby tools that this person used to like sand their car. And they're using just regular sandpaper. Like just the paper, like, and it was just ripped off the sheet, not even cut or nothing, like not even looking nice, you know? And I was going, dang, I still remember sanding my cars like that. Like just with my finger on top of the paper and just freaking rubbing it, like sanding. the noise. Yeah, that was it. And I was like, cool, I sanded it. But I would miss so many spots, you know, just messing up the car. And then, and my finger always hurting, like, damn, like, being all sore. I hated sanding. Always having to switch fingers or whatever. And then eventually, the sanding pads were introduced. I was like, oh my God. Well, yeah, sanding sticks, but I wasn't using sanding sticks. I was just using the thing. But then, once I came across sanding pads, especially the ones from the God Hand ones, that was a game changer right there. It's like you had a soft, squishy pad between your finger and that sand, that grit. And now I was like, yo, my fingers aren't hurting anymore. I could actually bend this. I could contour this to the body, get into these little crevices. It was cool, you know, just being able to do all those like little things. I was like, man, this is dope. And looking now, oh my God, there's like hundreds of things out there. It's crazy. so many different options now. It's not like how it was back then, you know? So sometimes you just gotta really look and be like, all right, you know, what do I need to assist me to get to that level, you know? And you go from there. But there's this one brand from Japan. It's called, I can't say the first name because I can't pronounce it right, but I know Alec is like the second word. But when I see them promoting it, they promote it more with that word, Alec. A-L-E-C. And it's based out of Japan. And they make hobby tools. They make files. They make like these scrapers. They do so many different things. But the files oh yeah, and saw blades too to cut. But man, like this stuff's, I mean, it's up there. It's a premium. It's up there in price, but it's also like some high level tools too. And I'm like, damn. But I remember years back, I bought a couple other products. I was working on this Gundam figure, and I came across their products. I ordered them. They arrived, and I did use them. But I do remember even getting them from Japan. They were at a high price. They're just a very premium tool. And I was excited because now I'm able to get them from my distributor. I was like, dope. They just got them in. And they have these files where the part that goes on your hand is like quite wide. I would say maybe like a maybe a millimeter or half of a millimeter. But then the tip, it's really small. Really, really small. I started looking into it, right? Like, you know, I want to see people using this tool. What are they using it for? And it seemed like these were like some high level like tools, like people that work on miniatures, like little like trains, little subway trains, aircraft, and I mean, you could use it for models too. But when I saw like this guy working on a little subway train, those windows are tiny, like tiny little windows, and this little file was fitting in there. And he was like filing, you know, the flash or just clearing them out, making them look clean. I was like, dang, that looks cool. I mean, this could be used for Gundam too. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff. They have these really interesting scrapers for those that built aircraft, where the part of the aircraft, you know, it's quite round, the round parts. There's this scraper that you can use to get it nice and smooth. I was like, dude, that's dope. And I have some of the stuff on the site, like just the listings. They're not available yet, but later I'm gonna acquire Hillmer tools. There's also this block. It's like to clean your files. It's like an eraser or something, but it looks like a pretty big block. So this way, when you file stuff and your files are all dirty, they're all like, you know, filled in and stuff, instead of just like making a mess by blowing it, I guess the purpose of the file is getting that eraser and just like rubbing it on it, and it cleans your files pretty much. So that's another thing. I know when people see it, they're gonna be like, what the hell is that? You know, but that's the purpose for that piece right there. So yeah, there's a lot of various things that I'm going to be getting in to the store. But there's definitely more tools that are coming in. So like if you look up hobby knives, you're going to see more than one hobby knife in there from different brands, and it's all just preference. You know, whatever you guys like. So yeah, we got the holidays coming up. I hope you guys are going to have a good time. If you're traveling, you know, be safe. Make sure you pay attention. Don't get stuck on your phone, like especially during the transitioning of like going somewhere, you know. So whether if you're driving or you're waiting to get picked up or to get on a flight or whatever, look at your surroundings, man. Like just pay attention to everything. You know, don't get stuck on the phone and have things happen behind the scenes, behind your head, you know, because you didn't see nothing. You gotta always just pay attention to what's going on, and just be safe, you know. And if you're chilling with your family, friends, you know, if you have no family but you're kicking it with a friend, whatever, you know, just have a good time. You know, just catch up, see what's up. Those that are not traveling, not got nothing going on, and you're just at home, cool. Like, you got so much stuff you could do too, you know. Chill with the fam or build some models, you know. Maybe get to working on the 3D printing stuff, you know. I don't know. You got a lot of different options right there. You know, it's going to be a long weekend. It's going to go by fast for sure. And then we got Christmas right around the corner too, which is crazy. And then a new year. So all that's going on. Next week, I will be doing a video episode with Casey, all the way in Australia, Slowly Models. Stay tuned for that. That's going to happen next week on Tuesday, 9 p.m. So we're going to be doing this conversation through video, and it's going to be live on YouTube. So if you guys want to tune in and watch our live broadcast episode, it's going to be on YouTube, and that'll be going down next week. You know, there's a lot of different things I'm planning for the podcast. Still will be doing interview episodes with guests. I'm going to be incorporating these video feeds as well, live broadcasts. And I'm also going to continue doing the community episodes as well, which I've been getting a lot of good feedback. People love them. So those are here to stay. And, you know, I'm also going to incorporate some other episodes with collaborating with other people as well. So stay tuned for all that stuff right there that's going to be coming up. So I hope you guys are doing good. I'm going to check out for a bit. I'm not sure yet if I might come back to add a little more to the episode. I'm almost here. So if not, though, we'll see. If not, I don't know. But I hope you guys are doing good. Episode 181, 65 Locs, checking out. I hope you guys are good. Stay safe. Keep on building. All right, guys. Peace.